Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So this is one that I've been kind of putting off a little bit over the last sort of hour or two. So of course yesterday Sunderland did lose again, this time in the FA Cup first round against struggling League 2 Mansfield. We lost by a goal to nil at the Stadium of Light. And I was working, thankfully, so I couldn't watch the game in full. And I did the night shift as well last night, so I didn't get home till 10 o'clock this morning. I've been out for breakfast. Just got back, hence why I've still got my coat on, and I just thought I'd just sit myself straight in front of the camera now, even still with my coat on. Press record, because I've got some thoughts fresh in my head whilst I make this video. So essentially, of course, particularly in recent weeks or over the last couple of results, I'm constantly getting asked, am I LJ in or LJ out? Now, I'm just going to have a quick talk about this in this video and then hopefully come to some kind of verdict. But essentially, of course, in recent weeks, it's been very, very poor. I think it's in the league. We've lost 4 out of the last 6, which is nowhere near good enough. And, you know, in one of those games as well, the 2 that we won out of those 6, and one was against Gillingham, where I don't think we deserved the win. I don't even think we deserved a draw in that game, if I'm being completely honest with you. So it could have easily been 5 out of 6, but of course, you know, I can't argue against it. We won. But yeah, you know, some people have argued, you know, those who are in the sort of LJ in camp, their argument generally is, you know, it's our first bad patch of the season, or it is a bad patch. You know, we can't just change managers every time we lose 2 or 3 games, which I completely understand, and I get that. You know, and I'm someone, as have many other fans, you know, supported this club for many years and watched us go through worse droughts than this and worse patches than this, and supported the managers through it in different scenarios. But when you're, of course, firstly in a league like this where we are supposed to be going for the top 2, and also we're in a run where we're not just losing games, we're getting absolutely mauled against our competition, i.e. Portsmouth, i.e. Rotherham, and i.e. Sheff Wednesday, and I suppose you can throw Charlton in there, but of course that was just a 1-0 defeat. But those were like the direct competitors, and we're getting absolutely battered. And the manner in which the lads have fell away makes me think it's a little bit more than simply a bit of a bad run. So for me, although that is an argument for people who are saying LG in, you know what, it's just a bit of a bad run, you can turn it around, there is no evidence or logic that Lee Johnson has ever turned around a bad run for any club. Any club. You know, I think, what was it? I think it was 7 games without a win. It was at the back end of last season. And the only thing that actually ended that run, the poor run of form he had last season, which was a big streak without any wins or any victories and losing and drawing all the time, the only thing that ended that was the fact that the season ended. That is the only reason that streak from Streaky Johnson came to an end. Otherwise, my bet would have been that that streak would have continued had the season continued, or had it gone on for longer, or if there was longer of the season. Do you know what I mean? So of course he got given the chance there to get away, rebuild a little bit, and he made a good start. He has made a good start. Now we've hit our first bump, and we did hit our first bump at Pompey, and my God, have we collapsed since then, and showing no signs of improving. In fact, looking progressively worse. Now this is my concern. It's not the case of we've just lost 2 or 3 games. Lee Johnson has no track record of being able to turn anything around when things starts to hit the fan. When shit starts to hit the fan, Lee Johnson has no record, no experience of turning it around. The only thing that stops his runs is him either leaving a club or a season ending. He has never been able to turn it around in a positive manner, or positive enough to really shift it around. Never. So this isn't me saying I don't want Lee Johnson here, or I'm just purely complaining because we've lost 2 or 3 games. It isn't that. It's the manner in which we've changed, because we went from some really decent, impressive football and getting wins and comprehensively to getting absolutely demolished and then still looking worse and worse in our performances ever since. So he can come out in his, you know, in his interviews and say, our players are better than this, you know, I believe we can do better and this, that and the other, but I don't believe we can at the minute whilst we have him here. Unfortunately, I hope he proves me wrong, because I don't think he will lose his job. I don't think he will lose his job. But I hope to God he does prove me wrong. So, like I say, for me, there's no history that proves or evidence that shows that Lee Johnson is the man to turn any kind of, you know, bad patch around, because he's never been able to do that. Never. Anywhere he's been. Never. But when things are going well with him, they are going well. And I think the only reason that they won't get rid of him, really, is because he's probably one of the only people around who are available at the minute that kind of fit the bill as to what we want at the minute with Speakman and obviously Kirill in there, and we've got the head coach process going on with the young players and the foundation he's laid. I think they will give him time, and that for me, I want to give a manager time, but for me, Lee Johnson, he looks with every game that he's lost the dressing room more and more and more. Some of those players in the space of 4 or 5 weeks, they're an absolute shadow of themselves. They look completely empty on confidence, and he's trying to sort of shift it onto fans as well. I know some people have argued the toss about what he actually meant that, but in his post-match yesterday after the Mansfield game, he heavily focused on, fan forums and social media and how that may affect, the mentality of players or the confidence of players, which of course it does. But at the end of the day, that is unfortunately, that's part and parcel of the game. If people are actually physically going into the inboxes of players nowadays, and if there are Sunderland fans going into inboxes of players and calling them A, B and C, do you know what I mean? Call them every name of the sun, then that is bang out of order. But I don't believe that is necessarily happening. I think Lee Johnson there he's worded it very well, by the way, as if he's some kind of fucking politician. He's basically sort of just saying, please stop saying nasty things about me, or please stop being angry about the performance of other players. He's trying to really, in a very patronising kind of way, just trying to say to the fans, please don't be so nasty when we do shit. Essentially, that's how I see it. And it's kind of your fault as well when we do shit, because you need to take a percentage of the blame. That's how I saw it. And as soon as you start even just hinting that the fans can take any kind of blame, and don't get me wrong, some of the fans forums are ridiculous and they're toxic and they're minging and they're just full of absolute idiots. They are. But everyone knows that they are. Everyone knows that some of these fan forums, they are full of idiots, and what they say means jack shit. So, you get paid enough to just, have that little bit of resilience and that little bit of strength and just say, okay, you're getting paid to do your job. Do it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not buying into that shit too much. So for me, as of right now, with everything put into consideration, I am LJ out, purely because I can't see this man turning it around. We've got Bradford in the Pizzas Trophy, and then we have a bit of a gap, which for me could be used to try and find a new man. Who? Couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. There's there's managers out there, Warnock, who's just recently left Middlesbrough, but I think he's basically said that that's his last job and he's retiring essentially. But I probably would have taken Warnock, to be honest with you, because I actually really like him. I wanted him a few years ago, but I don't think again it'd fit the bill of what the club is trying to go with. They're trying to go with a sort of youthful sort of base and a head coach, and I can see the way that they're trying to go, and someone like Warnock doesn't fit the bill. But I think Warnock, for me, at least short term, would be actually very good for the club. But that's not going to happen. And I also don't think Lee Johnson's going to lose his job anyway, as I say. So I am Lee Johnson out. I hope to God he can turn it around, and I will support in that sense. I'm not Lee Johnson out in the way in which I have been with the likes of Parky. You might say why, but I think with Parky, not at any point did I really believe or look at the lads or even performances and results and think, oh, at least that's what he's trying to get at. For me, he went through a little bit of a phase, Parky. When Parky started, he was shocking. Then he had a little bit of a phase where we looked okay-ish, but we scraped results, and then he was terrible again. Whereas with Lee Johnson, at least for these opening sort of 10, 11 games, I can see what he was trying to get at. I can see that. But his lack of plan B, or his ideas to, when things aren't going his way, he has nothing. He has no managerial intelligence or even ability to turn things around. When we go a goal down, or things aren't going our way, or we can't play this nice slick football on the ground, he has absolutely no answer for it. He can keep throwing all these pretty words in his post-match or his pre-matches to try and make it sound like he's smart as fuck. But we know at the end of the day what the job's about and what he should or shouldn't be doing. And he's generally terrible at combating a game when it isn't going his way. And he's terrible at that. And that's what terrifies me if he does remain in charge. So for me, I am LJ out. But again, not in the sense that I'm going to be screaming out or putting it all over social media forums constantly, saying LJ out, LJ out, LJ out, because I want him to turn it around. I want him to. But as of right now, I just generally think it is for the best of the club to maybe part ways now, because I can't see him turning this around, and I think it would be best for him and for us, because he's always had an inability to get himself out of a rut or turn a bad run of form around. And it could end up being too late for the club to save the season. And right now, if you look at the table, we aren't in a bad position whatsoever. We aren't in a bad position. But for me, I don't think Lee Johnson is going to be able to turn this around and put his back in towards the top 2 or solidify a place in the playoffs. I don't think he is that man. So that's my opinion anyway, guys. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here, scream and shout LJ out, but I would prefer him to leave. That's essentially my my thoughts about it, because at the end of the day, you know, I've seen some people say, yeah, you know, after the cup game, oh yeah, but it's only the cup game. It's only this. It's probably for the best that we're at the cup anyway. I mean, that's completely missing the point. It is the FA Cup our priority. Of course it isn't. Of course it isn't. But my priority for me is seeing our club winning games again. What worries me is that our club is losing consistently, and we've lost the last 3 games, looking worse and worse and worse, and then even against the Hands, or even at the Hands, at home, with almost a full-strength side against a struggling League 2 side in Mansfield. That is my concern. And that is why I'm bothered. And that is also an addition as to why I am LJ out. So, make of that what you will, I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments down below how you feel. As you can see, I'm trying to be very sort of placid and calm throughout this video. Like so I say, after work this morning, I just went out, had some breakfast. I've just made myself a brew. Because I want to be calm. I didn't want to be sitting there screaming and shouting. But I am LJ out. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe and all that nonsense. But for now, you take care and stay jamming.